Welcome back to News Sources. Tonight we're asking you on our opinion poll, do you believe the Jubilee government is losing support in its strongholds? Let me sample some of your views. Benjamin Jerry is saying, tumechoka na kudanganywa. We want the dollar to be even less than 80. NASA is the way. Then Justin Akama is saying, correct, it's not going to be business as usual. A lot has been said. And then Nelson Akot says, no, the crowd isn't enough to show it. They are idlers and jobless citizens. Let's move on. The oldest party, KANU, has finally dropped this nice guy attitude and backed Jubilee. In 2007, the party once again, now under the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta, backed the incumbent Mwai Kibaki. But does the entry of Gideon Moi mean Jubilee has three principles? That is the question tonight. I mean, Kayamba, principal Gideon Moi.
Gideon Moi, yes, he's a principal because he's a party leader of the country's independence party, KANU. But to be honest, the entry or the final declaration by KANU to back Jubilee clearly indicates that they have some sort of arrangement similar to what you've said in 2007 when KANU backed PNU but fielded their own candidates. The reason why he could emerge as a very strong principal is the fact that in 2013, whereas KANU had its own presidential candidate in the name of Musalia Mudavadi, what did they get? 2 senatorial positions, 1 governor, and about 6 members of parliament. Now this time, you can imagine now that they are officially under one team, many will be deciding to run on KANU ticket, those ones that are sure perhaps they might not make it on the Jubilee party nomination. And as a result, KANU is going to be the biggest beneficiary in the Rift Valley and therefore the numbers will swell. And therefore, when chips finally come down in 2017, KANU will have a sizable number that now will make him sit squarely on the bargain table as they now approach 2022.
What does KANU want in this, Oruko? What do they want?
And that's the funny thing. That's a very good question because on one hand, it really delayed in saying what it wanted, NASA, Jubilee. Finally, it did. But I was watching television yesterday in Narok, where KANU and Chama Mashinani were meeting. And I could see Gideon Moi's language was unusual. I think telling the people of Narok something like Muchunge Kura, kuna wezi wabaya sana hapa. Wezi wabaya sana, wezi na mnajua. So I really do not know, but at the end of the day, Gideon Moi must be his own person. I think the struggle within him is how to be his own person, away from his father. Because the agreement between KANU and Jubilee, I see it not so much of a Gideon and Uhuru something, but that's of Mzee Moi and Wamangina agreement. That's how I see it. So Gideon must also carve his own turf away beyond his father.
It's no doubt that Gideon and William don't get along very well. He's openly said it, that if Uhuru Kenyatta has to get votes from the Rift, then talk to them, talk to us. Don't go through William Ruto.
I think that's the case because this rivalry between the two did not start now. There was a time, you remember, there was a fierce face-off where one was saying some people are just political greenhorns, others were also replying on the same terms. So for me, I think what Gideon is eyeing is that as KANU, let's retain the identity of KANU. 2, let us have the numbers. So I think for them, they're targeting parliament. If we can have numbers in parliament and have numbers in the county assemblies, we can have a say. Because remember, we have an independent parliament and we have the county governments. If I have the numbers, whichever the president that is in office, they must negotiate with me. So you start with the numbers, then you climb the ladder. But I give him a thumbs up for retaining the identity of KANU. I think that is the only political party that people can trace down to during independence time.
I hate indecisive politicians. And to me, Gideon Moi is losing the chance to make a mark in Kenyan's politics because of these reasons. You remember in the last election, he supported, I think, Musalia Mudavadi, who got less than 500,000 votes. In this election, he's shown a lot of diddling between Jubilee and NASA. One of the things actually I admire about William Ruto is that I don't know his father, I don't know his mother, even don't know whether they are alive or not. But what Ruto has managed to do is pushed for himself. When you see President Uhuru Kenyatta going to meet the older Moi, and then Gideon turning to support Jubilee, they know this is a guy who can be just waved like an handkerchief.
But with all fairness, you have to give it to Gideon because he's a man who has cut a niche for himself. If he were to be dependent 2013, he wouldn't have gone against, just a minute, he wouldn't have gone against URP-TNA.
I think we'll need more than a minute, Kayamba,
yes.
to talk about Gideon. Let's talk about the other Ruto. Bomet governors Chama cha Mashinani has teamed up with KANU in what is likely to complicate matters for Deputy President William Ruto. Gideon Moi and Isaac Ruto have been charting a somewhat different political journey in the Rift Valley until Gideon Moi promised to support Uhuru Kenyatta. Is this a soft rebellion of sorts against William Ruto? We'll start from there.
William Ruto is in trouble. We remember in 2013, Isaac Ruto was one of his fiercest defenders. Actually, he could have killed you if you spoke badly about Ruto. And for Gideon Moi, you remember when Ruto was in the egg, Gideon was also there. So William Ruto needs to go back to the drawing board and ask himself, what if I'm losing William Ruto? I've lost Gideon Moi. What else? Who else am I going to lose next? I think that's a big challenge. And for the first time in these coming elections, unlike in the last time where if you had a Jubilee ticket, a URP ticket, you could have won in Rift Valley. Now it's going to be quite different.
The same will be said about Central Province, where you have a senator from Embu running on Manilo Chap ticket. What is happening to Jubilee in Central?
No, I think in Central, the mere fact that they decided to fold up TNA, which was their identity, and URP, which were those people who are disgruntled in TNA, opted for URP, they don't have an option. Remember here, you are having people in the same ticket, people who almost their weight is the same. Look, for example, Senator Lenny Kivuti, and you look again, Cecil Mbarire. These are two people who are very close to the presidency. So you look at it again and you say, at the end of the day, we can only have one person get the ticket. So what do I do? Instead of battling, and I know I will lose it, let me just opt out early and campaign and build the identity. But going to Rift Valley again, where we are talking about the two Rutos and Gideon Moi, we also have, remember in 2013 we brought on board very young politicians, some of them who have never even had a position in the House. So again with this, we are seeing a fight between the veterans and the newcomers who have to hang on the DP to either survive or cross over to Gideon Moi or the Isaac Ruto for survival.
Ruko, where is the Sky Team partners? Where are they? Where is Murkomen? Where is Kindiki? Where are these people when William Ruto needs them most?
No.
Where are they?
I don't know where they are. But it's time to face the knife first, they'll tell you.
Yes.
So you have to, the pain is yours alone. You have to go out and defend. It's not about Ruto. It's about Elgeyo Marakwet on one side, Tharaka Nithi on the other, and all that. But what my view was the issue in Jubilee. I think I want to disagree with my sister here, that it's about two equal forces. No, it was the mistake, the perpetual mistakes that Jubilee has committed since 2013. You decide to dismantle political parties and form one party. Then you have everybody in one party. All of a sudden, the party becomes small for everybody, right? So, Kivuti is running away for a very simple reason. He's not, now that you said he believes the opponent is closer to the president than him. So, I think a life jacket, a life boat, is the best option.
Even the governor of Tharaka Nithi has run away.
Yes, has run away. So, the blunders that Jubilee has made, I said on this program a long time ago, that the tyranny of numbers was a very big lie. That unfortunately, the president and his deputy went out to swallow hook, line, and sinker. So they are sinking with it.
In 10 seconds or less, are they sinking with it, Kayamba?
Not really. In the event that these are, in as much as there are people who are jumping ship, they are jumping, but still remaining at the periphery. So it's in Central, it's in Rift Valley, but they're not going far. So these are just like friendly fires that will be lit left, right, and center that might not necessarily burn the house, because at the end of it, at the apex, they are looking at one team, the presidency.
He's saying that friendly fire does not kill.
Let's stay with matters in the Rift. Despite the government promising to crack down on banditry attacks in Baringo County, the region is volatile and seems likely that the bandits are roaming large. The country's number 2 in command, William Ruto, has been to the region twice now, but this has not calmed the nerves of the residents there who say something must be done. Let us listen in to Kipruto Kimuso, the MC aspirant, who says he's likely to cut links with the Jubilee government.
I want to address His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. It is becoming very difficult to sell Jubilee, to market Jubilee, and even to market you as our president for a re-election because of this insecurity. These people you are seeing lined up here, Your Excellency, have been displaced. Their entire location, which is known as Arabal, is now vacated. We are almost losing where we are now. We even don't know whether we are going to vote or we are not going to vote because we are losing this place.
However, threats or people seeking attention from the commander-in-chief who has been missing in action?
It's a sad reality of the event on the ground, of the situation on the ground. Remember that Baringo has remained wild. There's a time I even did a story, Wild Baringo. These issues, of course, we know that as we speak, there are 2 leaders that are waiting to be laid to rest because of that insecurity. As I said, the regional coordinator in Rift Valley, Wanyama Musiambo, the DP, they've said they are considering calling the place insecure. Red Cross has suspended operations for the first time. Therefore, the situation is that bad, and these are basically frustrations of the people. And he's clearly saying they are not so sure whether they will be at home to vote or they will not vote. And that's why they are saying it's becoming increasingly difficult because they've lost that sense of we're in government, the same government that perhaps is not providing that security. So these are the real issues that, by and large, will determine on how people are going to vote. And as I said, unlike in 2013, where it was about personality and saving one of our own or who is against one of our own, 2017, largely, it will be issue-oriented, and those some of the issues that perhaps might determine on how people will be voting.
Rosaline, the government has come under serious attack in the recent past on how they've been handling insecurity. And the biggest challenge was Al-Shabaab that seems to have been contained now, but with very serious casualties. Are we likely to see this playing out again going forward, this kind of banditry attacks, if the government doesn't do anything?
I think we will, because remember, if you listen to Baringo Senator Gideon Moi, and he was saying, let us not handle this thing lightly. It will be something big if it is not contained. But I think, again, our people do not understand the power they have in the Constitution. Because if you read the Constitution, one of the reasons that can lead to a suspension of a county government or the process to impeach a president is on security. And nobody dares touch on this. Because if Kenyans really knew this, that is where they should have been facing. Because it is the work of the presidency, the government, to ensure all people are safe. And they swore to that when they took over office. Why are we not seeing this?
Look at the situation in Baringo. It's also very important to note the genesis of this problem. I listened to the former IG Kimayo, and they said that in 1995, the issue was a bit controlled in that region. What you are seeing now has come up because of the fight for resources, like the new location that the MC aspirant was talking about. But there's a bigger problem in Baringo, and it can't just be solved through disarming. Like Aimba said, the deputy president the other day said that they have declared the region as a disturbed and dangerous area, and this comes from the National Police Service Act, Section 120, which you declare and then you do forced disarmament. But other than disarming these people, the government needs to seriously invest in education in that region. Kimayo said that when you go to Pokot, you meet a Pokot boy who is 17, 18, 19 years, and you ask this person, habari yako, they look at you as if you are a ghost. They don't understand that Kiswahili. But when you go to the side of Turgens, Marakwet, and you ask the same kid who's 3-4 years old, he understands. So just taking away these arms from these people will not assist the Pokot. Let me say, because they are the ones who have been accused so much of beating the other communities around them.
The deputy was there. Show of might in 30 seconds or less. Oruko, are we likely to have an end to this kind of menace?
No. First of all, let me tell you, my sister, it's not the people who impeach the president. It's the National Assembly. Having said that, I want to concur with what he said. What we are seeing in that region is a clash of civilization. And one of the campaign tools for Jubilee in 2013 was to change that, giving those opportunities so that we go away from the cattle rustling and maybe pastoralism to something, a settled, sedentary kind of life where people go to school, they have factories and all that. We have seen very few of that, or nothing of that kind, and it reminds me this dogma around being in the government to feel development. I mean, these guys are fully in the government, and they are suffering much more than the areas that did not vote for the present government. So what we need is serious investment in that area. But again, remains a very important tool, more than a pen.
But the other day there was a serious parade of security hardware, and I'm sure, Dennis, you're the one who did that report.
Yes.
There was that fanfare and all that. We thought as we speak, and they said issues of cattle rustling, those are now bygones. What happened? Because there was that parade.
And then Dennis, again, another thing, what Oruko was saying. Remember, it is the people, the MPs exercise power on behalf of the people. So if the people of Baringo insist and say we want the suspension of our county government, or we want the process to initiate the process to impeach the government because insecurity has persisted, it is the MPs to do that on behalf of their people.
Can you assist them?
I think you understood me, but mine I was saying, this region, you must see the Pokot region in terms of the greater northern region. You go to all the way to Karamojong, right?
Yes.
To Posa in southern Sudan and Ethiopia, the Boranas. All these groups are armed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we must come to an end of this show. But before we do, we need to ask you tonight, do you believe Jubilee government is losing support in strongholds? Do you believe the Jubilee government is losing support in areas they enjoy a huge command of support? 67% of you say yes, 33% of you say no. Remember, those are just your opinions online, and your opinion counts for now. Duncan Hayamba, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Ibrahim Oruko, kama kawaida. Rosino Bala, good to see you again. And Bega Kisesa, wish you very well out there. As News Sources, see you tomorrow.